And welcome back to the Crypto Hulk program. We got a full program. We're going to start off with Wells Fargo. And we talked about this about a week ago. But for people that I wanted to reinforce this again. So I wanted to show you what's going on, I think, with all the banks, not just Wells Fargo. They're like soft releasing their deposit tokens, stablecoin, whatever you want to call it. What we're seeing is they're going to have, look, they're all going to use the crypto. Remember I told you, you got to get all the roads, the bridges, the streets all set up. They're going to get rich first before you and me. So get that into your head. They're going to get all the crypto laid out. Nothing's going to happen to where you and me are all going to be rich, and then we're waiting for the banks to get it. That's not going to happen. That's on the hype channel, the crypto hype channels, where they do price predictions and all that dumb shit. Okay. We're going to talk today about what is happening, and that is the banks, including Wells Fargo. Now, all these banks, they're not going to tell you what they're doing. Okay. If one of the top banks in the United States is doing all this, the rest of them are doing it as well. They're just not telling you. Dark pools, private ledgers, you're not going to see any of this stuff, okay? That's how it all goes down. We are going to start off here. My name is Crypto Hulk. I'm not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor, none of the above. Don't buy anything I tell you to buy. Don't sell anything I tell you to sell. I'd be the worst person you want to listen to for financial advice. And with that, let's get going. So I want you to look at this right here. And there we go. I want you to see what we got here. Wells Fargo brings, now this was August 10th. And today is the 15th. So 5 days ago, this article came out. Corporate treasuries may soon get the speed and programmability associated with stable coins without moving their cash outside the banking system. Wells Fargo said it will begin offering tokenized deposits to select corporate and commercial clients this fall. Right here, Wells Fargo is going to roll out their crypto, they're calling tokenized deposits. Look, they already have the rails. They're rolling out their crypto, which is tokenized deposits. And then guess what happens after that? You already got the rails. You're already moving crypto. There you go. It's all good to go. So this fall, select corporate and commercial clients. Select ones. That means them, not us, okay? The blockchain-based service will initially support transfers between the US dollars and British pounds, allowing participating companies to move, program, and so forth. Okay, what we got going on is, I'm going to say, United States, member, and the United Kingdom, they're putting together their transatlantic crypto platform, aren't they? Oh, yes, they are, Crypto Hulk. And what's going to happen first? It's not you and me get rich. What's going to happen first is the banks are going to be shooting money back and forth to each other. Businesses, investment companies are going to be shooting their money from United Kingdom to the United States and back and forth. They're going to, I don't know if this is a pilot. They're going to use real money. So that's what they're doing. They're getting prepared, everybody. I'm showing you this right now. The announcement places Wells Fargo alongside JP Morgan and Citibank in a widening contest over who will provide the digital money used. So this is a widening contest between the biggest banks in the world over who will provide the digital money used for corporate payments. Oh. So these big banks are going to compete and find out whose stablecoin's the best. Stablecoin issuers have demonstrated that funds can move across borders and outside of banking hours. Banks are responding by applying similar technology to deposits that remain within regulated institutions. So you're going to have your Wells Fargo coin, your JP Morgan coin, your Citibank coin, and all of these coins that are in the clearinghouse, and there's probably 20 banks in there, they're all going to start using their own stable coins with businesses that they bank with. A stablecoin is generally backed by reserves held by the issuer and can move between participating wallets and platforms. A tokenized deposit remains a commercial bank liability, much like the balance displayed in a corporate checking account. The blockchain changes how the deposit moves and what companies can program it to do. It doesn't change the basic relationship between the depositor and the bank. So what we got here, Treasury departments, so these different businesses, a bank like Citibank probably has 1,000 business partners. And right now, they're switching pounds and dollars. So if you're in the United Kingdom and you're a bank or certain businesses, remember, this is select clients, not just anybody. They're probably going for the biggest of the big, and they are utilizing this to see which bank stablecoin, I guess, is the best. That's what we're seeing right here. Wells Fargo is entering a field that has moved beyond experimentation. JP Morgan's JPM coin supports round-the-clock institutional settlement, where Citi Tokens Bank, their token enables clients to move liquidity across participating markets outside of banking hours. Citi has also tested smart contracts that automatically release payment after a commercial condition, such as a delivery of fuel to a ship. That programmability could prove more consequential than raw speed. A company could connect payment to the receipt of goods, approval of an invoice. The payment instruction, business condition, and record of settlement could become parts of the same workflow. That would reduce the manual handoffs that create reconciliation. Now, banks also bring a structural advantage. They already hold corporate operating deposits and providing credit, foreign exchange, fraud controls, and liquidity service. The Bank of International Settlements and Ripple Partner has argued that tokenized commercial bank money can deliver many benefits of programmable payments while preserving a financial system anchored by central bank reserves. Okay, now I'm going to get into the deep dive on this, which is right here. Now we're going to look at what does Grok help us see that the article doesn't discuss. So we're going to kind of get into this kind of deep here. Wells Fargo is one of the largest U.S. banks. They got about $2 trillion in assets. It's not a pure crypto token. It's a traditional bank layer permissioned blockchain and tokenized commercial bank money onto its existing infrastructure. The core recent push is tokenized deposits. Okay, so this isn't just a regular stablecoin. These are bank deposits. So this Wells Fargo goes back to 2019, 7 years ago. Wells Fargo had something called Wells Fargo Digital Cash, an internal settlement service using tokenized US dollar one-to-one, backed by a proprietary DLT platform. This was R3 Corda Enterprise. Now, what do we know about R3? That's the XDC token that we know about. They use different ones. But what we know R3 Corda for is XDC. Now, remember, this is 2019. This is their historic, how they first started. Remember, a lot of times they'll start with something like an Ethereum or whatever. They always do that dumb shit. And then they move on to something else at the end. Okay? That's how they do this. So 7 years ago, R3 Corda was the one they were working with. And Swift. So Swift would be involved. What do we know about Swift lately? For the past year, they used Linnea. They tested, and Linnea was involved in the Swift movement. That's the Linux Corporation. But let's discuss this here. Let's see, HSBC. So earlier, let me show you the Grok is showing us that early. Here's the cryptos they were using. Hyperledger. So earlier, Hyperledger and R3 activity participation in Swift. But see, Swift GPI, that's like the old school Swift, all right? So they're showing you the historic, what they started with, not what they're ending with. So you got the clearinghouse. Let me copy this. Hold on. Right there and that. So here we got June of 26. Wells Fargo joined JP Morgan and these others. I'd say everybody in the clearinghouse. And there's like 20 banks, I think, in the clearinghouse. Now, the clearinghouse is going to get involved in this. Now, remember, each of these banks has their own specific blockchain partners, okay? Now, to complicate this a little more, the clearinghouse is an organization that all these banks are partnered to. It has its own proprietary platform, okay? They're going to release this first half of 2027. This is what I'm showing you right here. All the biggest banks in the world, which are the United States banks, the first half of next year, green light, crypto, okay? And they're going to call it deposit tokens, but it's crypto. So I wanted you to see that right there. Strategy overseas. Current proprietary platform. Okay, now here's where Ripple comes in. So now we're talking about the clearinghouse. And when we start talking about the clearinghouse, let's see what they use. Yeah, with YouTube, I can't copy more than like a sentence. Okay. Current, now with the clearinghouse, They're using Cosmos Labs. Why is Cosmos Labs important? Let me show you right here. Oh, buddy. Let me do a copy paste for you. Right there. The clearinghouse, we just saw the clearinghouse is going to be using Cosmo and that SDK. What is that? That's a company called Persist. And that's taking Cosmos into an interoperability layer. Now, if we dig a little deeper, what the hell is all this? So you got Cosmo SDK across Latin America hooking all them up. I'm trying to see. In the United States and Latin America, it's with this Cosmo SDK and Spain. That's all Ripple. Look right here. With institutional commitment well underway, the timing was right for Cosmos and Persist to formalize their partnership to bring blockchain infrastructure to central banks, financial institutions, and governments across Latin America and Spain. We're talking from Mexico all the way down to the south tip of Brazil. Oh, man. And Spain and, well, that'd be America, United States, Persist. Let's go to the next paragraph here. The scope of the partnership. You could read this. The agreement builds on a collaboration between Cosmos and Persist that goes back several years. Persist built the XRP ledger. Oh, there you go. Persist, which is with Cosmos, Persist built the XRP ledger Ethereum virtual machine sidechain on the Cosmo distributed ledger technology stack, adding smart contract functionality and cross-ledger interoperability to the XRP ledger. Within 6 months of launch, the network had more than 358 million in tokenized assets. Persist is an official provider of Cosmos-based solutions for central banks, financial institutions, and governments across Latin America and Spain. And that is what Wells Fargo's using. Let's read this again. Current proprietary, that's the proprietary of the Wells Fargo blockchain. Let me look here a little closer. Yeah, so we're talking Wells Fargo is running Cosmo SDK. Current proprietary platform for tokenized deposits. Permissioned private blockchain. Multiple sources, including Cosmo Labs. There you go. Indicate it is built using Cosmo technology, Cosmo SDK, Tendermint. That is what we just read. That's what they made sidechains for the XRP ledger so that it's interoperable. That's what they're going to be using, is basically this Cosmo SDK with the Ripple blockchain for interoperability. And what we have here is no longer the R3 Corda, and that would be like XDC. That is history. right there. Notice it says historical, and then a colon. R3 Corda Enterprise for 2019 digital cash. That's the historical, what they started with, realizing they couldn't do it. And that's why Cosmo, SDK, and Ripple come in to do what R3 Corda XDC can't do. Now, XDC's mission is trade finance, not this, okay? R3 Corda's mission is not this. I don't know what their mission is, but it's not this. That's why the Cosmo SDK with PeerSys and Tendermint turned the XRP ledger and gave it side chains to make all this stuff work for Wells Fargo's platform. Hold on a minute. I'm asking Grok a quick question here. I'll get back to that in a minute. So let me continue on this. So we looked at the blockchain tech stack that Wells Fargo's using. And they have a partnership and collaboration that helped them build it. And that partnership is the Clearinghouse. The Clearinghouse has a shared tokenized deposit network. And like I said, it's going to be released the first half of 2027. All these banks are going to use it that are members of the Clearinghouse. Swift's going to be there, of course. Now, again, it's showing us the historical platform that they were building on. Let me show you that again. Okay, that's the historic. Wells Fargo's proprietary blockchain is built on Cosmos technology. So that's the Wells Fargo with all the Ripple and the PeerSys and all that. That's the Wells Fargo, not the Clearinghouse. Wells Fargo's own platform is tokenized deposits launched this fall, coming up very soon. It's the leading proprietary blockchain platform. Now, the Clearinghouse network, this is a shared multi-bank tokenized deposit network. It was announced in June, a couple months ago. And it's operated, that platform by the Clearinghouse is operated by themselves. It runs real-time payments and chips. Now, the Clearinghouse is going to launch the first half of 2027. Their platform, Wells Fargo, is going to launch in fall, okay? And that is straight up Ripple right there. Now, Wells Fargo proprietary platform is Wells Fargo only. The clearinghouse, they have a multi-bank platform, all right? Now, with Wells Fargo, they're using Cosmo SDK. Now, the clearinghouse, they haven't said who they're using. Now, the Wells Fargo platform is for Wells Fargo clients, but the clearinghouse is interbank settlement. So it appears to be Wells Fargo's clients will use the Wells Fargo network, but these banks will all the banks will use specifically the clearinghouse's platform. And Wells Fargo's platform is connected to the clearinghouse, their platform. I'm almost kind of wondering why they don't everybody ought to just use Wells Fargo's platform then. I mean, maybe they end up doing that. I have no idea. I was a little confused at first because I'm like, well, if Wells Fargo's platform's built on Cosmo SDK, but you see now the clearinghouse, they're playing games. They're not going to tell anybody right now what they're using. I'm like, oh my God. So that's the games. But we already know Wells Fargo. I have a feeling, they're all going to use Wells Fargo's. That's what I believe. So what it looks like is they started, Wells Fargo started by using something called Talos, Talos, then Elliptic, Axoni, Axoni, and then R3 Corda. That's what they started with. And then, of course, they found the replacement, which is Cosmo SDK with PeerSys and Tendermint. So that's what is going on. Here's what they're saying here about that historical buildup. Right there. So migration went from internal only. They went what's called digital cash, and that was Corda. Then you can see it right there. I gave it to you. Then they draw an arrow and says proprietary Cosmos. Cosmos-based platform with client exposure and planned interchange shared network connectivity. There you go. And what I think we got going on is a Cosmo-based platform, but what's the shared thing it goes on top of? The XRP ledger. That's what I would bet money right there. See, they're saying they have a Cosmo-based platform, they're telling you, with client exposure and a planned interchain shared network connectivity, XRP ledger. There you go, right there. That's what I believe. I bet everything on that. Okay. I think I'll leave it at that. Let me check the comments and we will go to the next article. Stu Lavelle says, a dickhead on Twitter bragging that he sold all his XRP at 240. I bookmarked that tweet. This will be fun. That is so, like, Low IQ. That's somebody has no idea. That dude, wow. That's amazing. People doing that. Next. Let's see what we got next on this list. Oh. Talk about Israel again. Israel is back in the news. They're getting all hooked up, everybody. Israel's largest bank taps Galaxy to offer Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana tradings. Israel's largest bank is now going to have crypto available, everybody in Israel. This is a first. Customers of Leumi, Leumi Bank, and its mobile digital banking arm will be able to use the bank's mobile digital banking arm to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and other selected cryptocurrencies. Remember, they always start off with the dumb shit first, okay? In 2022, Bank Leumi said it'd partner with Paxos, but that shit never worked out, okay? Bank Leumi, Israel's largest bank, plans to allow customers to trade Bitcoin investing app in early 2027. Are you seeing a trend? We've got the clearinghouse in America. All these banks are going to go on the clearinghouse to shoot money to each other. Right now, Wells Fargo is going to start working with select clients. Bank Leumi, early 2027, going to start selling crypto. Customers of Bank Leumi and something called Pepper, its mobile digital banking arm, will be able to use the bank's mobile digital banking to trade selected cryptocurrencies. Now, you got Galaxy Digital is going to make all this happen. I want you to see this. Mike Novogratz, he's in charge. Mike Novogratz, that guy, he's in charge of Galaxy Digital. Let's get into the deep dive on this. Now, what we got going on, this is significant primarily because it marks the first time, we got first mover advantage right here again, the first time a major Israeli bank is committing to offer direct cryptocurrency trading to its own retail and mobile customers inside its banking app. Bank Leumi is Israel's largest bank. Until now, Israeli customers wanting regulated access to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana generally had to go through specialized crypto platforms or brokers. Leumi plans to let customers of both the main bank and its digital arm, which is Pepper, hold and sell these assets directly through Leumi Trade Capital Markets application. Galaxy Digital from the United States supplies the institutional trading infrastructure. Galaxy One Institutional, it's called. And then they have a custody layer of GK8. We're going to start looking into who's doing all this here. The bank is not pointing customers to a third-party exchange. The bank is embedding crypto trading and custody into its own trusted interface. So you're going to stay on that Bank Leumi website. You're not going to get transferred over to Galaxy Digital. It's all going to be within their own website. Galaxy acts as the special back end. Galaxy has been deliberately building the rails for banks and asset managers rather than competing as an exchange. So Galaxy can join up with 100 banks. They're a business that's providing crypto trading and custody. And they contact banks, say, hey, do you guys want to start trading and having crypto for your customers? Galaxy can provide that. And we're going to find out who's helping them. Let me go back up at the top here. Galaxy is a New York-based digital assets and AI infrastructure. Do you want to know why? Let me tell you something. This is just what I believe. It's not fact-based. What I believe is this, and this is kind of just like my hunch. New York in the United States, New York is the toughest place to open up crypto trading. My belief is this. I think a certain group of people, like Galaxy and some others, were given special permission and protection. Like Halen Brown, I mean, you got to go to hell and back just to get in New York to sell crypto. But it seems like these other companies got in there and then slammed the door on everybody else. That's what it looks like to me. Some people were given a free pass. They got in New York, and then the governor of New York, whatever, just shuts them all down. That's what it very much looks like to me. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. Galaxy was founded in 2018 by Mike Novogratz as a merchant bank bridging traditional finance and crypto. Now, Novogratz used to work at Goldman Sachs. That might have a help right there. Let me just look here. Oh, looky here. Look who's on the leadership team here. Oh my God. Looky right here. I'm going to show you why. Right here is one of the reasons why they get preferential treatment. Look what Crypto Hawk just, who's one of the leaders of Galaxy? Oh, just some guy named Lior Lamesh. He is the CEO of Galaxy Israel. Oh, shit. He's the co-founder of GK8 with Israeli intelligence and cyber background, and he's made patents. He's patented things. Gee, I wonder if that's one of the reasons why they got through the door and everybody else got the door slammed on them, huh? What do you think about that one? Let's keep going, Crypto Hulk. It's starting to get very interesting right now. Okay, let's keep going. Core proprietary stack. Now, what is Galaxy built on? GK8. That's what we talked about. The Israeli. That's what Galaxy's built on. That country's intelligence. Oh shit, Crypto Hulk. I think you're right. Crypto Hulk, about how Galaxy got through the door and nobody else does. Very interesting, huh? They have what's called an impenetrable vault, highly resistant to remote and theft. You got BlackRock involved in there. Isn't Larry Fink's heritage of that country? Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Crypto Hulk, that's just a coincidence. Okay. Now, looky here. Fireblocks is involved. Well, Where did Fireblocks come from? Oh, Crypto Hulk. Well, they came from and I can't say Real also. The intelligence, and I can't say department of that country as well. Dang, Crypto Hulk. You know what? I think you're right about this Galaxy Digital, how they get through the door, because they're working for that country in the Middle East. That's how they got through the door. And their country's national intelligence helped create what we know as Galaxy Digital. Oh my God. Crypto Hulk, I'm learning so much here. Holy crap. Yep. Straight up facts. Let's keep digging, shall we? Here, I'm just going to copy paste this. BlackRock State Street. So who's providing custody? Ripple. Zodiac custody is Ripple. Oh, let's look right here. This also is a coincidence as well, by the way. Where do you see this one? Now go to the 32-second mark. 32-second mark. What do we see right here? Oh, looky there. That says Ripple Israel, Crypto Hulk. Israel's first Ripple gateway. Well, I didn't know they had that. Ripple, let's see. Ripple Israel, it's called. It's a gateway onto the XRP ledger. Up September 2013, only 13 years ago, Crypto Hulk. Very interesting. Oh, they had wallets too. Right there, it says my wallet. They had crypto wallets back in 2013. Ripple gave Israel crypto wallets. Well, Crypto Hulk, I've never heard of Crypto Hulk. Why doesn't any other channel show this? I feel ripped off. They're talking about we provide a service enabling people to transfer their new Israeli shekels and their Bitcoins to what? The Ripple network. My. They already had a CBDC 13 years ago. Yep, saw it on Crypto Hulk Show. Nobody else. Let's go back to the evidence now. Vesco. You got Plume involved. Let me do a copy paste, show you. Right there, Plume. They are like Galaxy put money into, let me see here. Galaxy is working with Plume, Athena, Fireblocks. I showed you that right there. So that's very interesting. Plume is definitely an interesting crypto right there. Okay, that is it. Now here's your evidence. Standard Chartered, the Zodiac custody we talked about. Here's your evidence for that. So there's your evidence right there. Standard Chartered back, Zodiac custody joins Ripple. So there you go. Now let's talk about Fireblocks, okay? Fireblocks, oh, let me copy this. Oh, shit. Copy. Now, where did Fireblocks come from? Fireblocks is an Israeli-founded digital asset. Let me ask a question. Is it just me, or does the whole Galaxy Digital, are they based on everything Israel? I don't know. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just asking. From what I've seen, there's like 5 relationships with Israel in this whole thing. This whole Galaxy Digital thing is basically everything to do with Israeli intelligence. I don't know. Maybe I'm just over exaggerating, but so now we have here Fireblocks is an Israeli-founded digital asset infrastructure company. Oh, let me add on this. That. Oh, there's Mel DeWeese. Okay. So now what I did is, I eliminated 3 people's messages. So Fireblocks is an Israeli-founded digital asset infrastructure company. It has custody, MPC wallets, settlement, tokenization, stablecoin payments, whose 3 co-founders all come from Israel's elite military intelligence. It's not just me, is it? Like this whole damn Galaxy Digital, it's that country and their intelligence people. Like, I'm just showing you the facts. And everything about a Galaxy Digital comes from that country. So, I don't know. What do I know, right? Maybe it's just a weird coincidence or something. So, who are the founders of Fireblocks? You're not going to believe this. That. So here's just the founder of Fireblocks. Right there. So now I had to delete a couple people's messages. Michael Shalev, CEO, co-founder of Fireblocks. He served in Unit 8200, which is Israel's Signals, Intelligence, and Cyber Unit, often compared to the United States NSA, and received the Israeli Presidential Excellency honor for his contribution. Like, are you serious? Like, that's what Fireblocks is. Holy shit. Here's the other guy that started Fireblocks. Right there. YT is throwing a fit. Look at that. Fireblocks worked on Israel's digital shekel. Oh, did they? And now Fireblocks just happens to be like the biggest crypto. They control, protect the crypto in the whole world. Fireblocks. And it's all from that country. How interesting. Oh, that's just a coincidence, Crypto Hall. It's not that much in there. There you go. So that is what we're seeing with this Fireblocks deal. And the Israeli company, the bank Leum, Israel's largest bank, it's all tied in with our country. That's what we're seeing here. I just thought I'd put that out there. Not a big deal. Lastly, let's conclude with Andis. Now, Andis is a stock, and they also have a crypto that you can buy, like on MetaMask. You can buy Andis. It's a stock. It's also a crypto. Or you can go to like the Robinhood or Charles Schwab and buy Andis crypto. And the parent company of that is Ando. But today we're going to look at Andis. Now, what does Andis do? They have drones. It's a drone business. The drones, and it's not just for military. Andis flies these drones. It can go to the tops of towers. Let's say if you're working on a tower way up high and you forgot a wrench, you can get this drone to fly a wrench up to you. Let's say you can get a fleet of drones and you can fly along power lines in a forest and inspect to make sure none of the trees are going to hit the power line. Now, these drones have artificial intelligence, computer vision, and machine learning. Very interesting. And then they're going to equip them with attack, like with missiles and stuff too. Now, what we got going on here with Andis, this is a company I started talking to you guys about. I think it was like $5 or $6. And now this one is right around $10 almost. So if you would have bought this when we talked about it first, you'd be up 100%. Probably, I think we started talking about what, 6 months ago or something like that. Record growth. Andis has record growth and raised outlook. Andis reported second quarter revenue of approximately $83 million. It's up. Ando's revenue is up 67% and more than 13 times year after year. It raised its 2026 revenue target to about $550 million. So it had a target, but it raised it. And it expects the third quarter to make about $150 more million. And if you add their backlog, They've made $750 million this year. They have, listen to this. While they have a 2-year strategic pipeline worth $11 billion. This is a company right here you seriously want to look into. Oh, they just happen to get a contract with the United States Army. So they, what happened is Andis, but I remember we talked about this, Design. It's a company, Design and Cyberhawk. Let me do a copy paste. So those are two companies that they bought. Andis buys these two companies, which makes them even bigger and better. They have their counter drone ISR, something called ISR counter drone systems. You see all these problems we're having with Iran right now and the drones? That shit's about to end. Let me just tell you right now, with the quickness, this Andis is going to come in and like destroy all these fucking drones Iran keeps sending over. It's going to wipe them off the face of the planet. The battle of the drones. Okay, Andis is going to have border security. Yeah, the Democrats are never going to prove that. Smart demining, military engineering vehicles, lethal unmanned systems, autonomous UAV swarms, precision strike. Now they're going to go up into the stratosphere, and God knows do what up there. Maybe change the weather pattern. Telling you what, man. They got $240 million approved under the U.S. Army's Lethal Unmanned Systems Indefinite Delivery. It means they're going to keep just ordering it and ordering it. They have something called Indo Earth Moving Combat. I want to see what's going on here. This one's interesting. They got like big old trucks that can be earth movers and go into a combat zone and like make roads and shit and do a lot more. So like, I don't know all the stuff they can do. They got Indo Earth Moving Combat Engineer Vehicle Program. You drop these sons of bitches out there and they pave the road and make it flat. I don't know all the shit they're doing. I haven't paid attention to this, but whatever they need done, or if there is a road that the enemy's using, they could send in these drones and like destroy roads and shit like that. All kinds of cool shit. Anyhow, I'm not here to sell securities. So if that looks interesting to you, then get it. And if it doesn't look interesting, then don't. There's Rob. What's up, Rob? Thank you very much. Selling my crypto and buying a cheap Rolex and white teeth. Oh, I don't know how that's going to turn out. Let me know. I'd be curious. Okay, I've got 40 seconds left. Well, you won't be able to go in on GPUS now because the SEC shut it down. So you can't buy it or sell it. All right. With that, I'm out of here. If I find news, I don't know, Sunday mornings. Okay, so for tonight, it's Saturday. I usually don't find news for Sunday morning. I'll try. and see what I can look for. But generally, I don't make Sunday AM shows. There's just really nothing there tonight for news. So with that, I'm out of here, Stu Lavelle. I'll see you on the next one.